Hey everybody, here's a quick update. So our girl AOC out of New York, she ran on the fact that she was from the Bronx. She always stated she was from the Bronx. She always said, I'm a Bronx girl. Matter of fact, she just made a statement not that long ago that she was a Bronx girl and that she ate Queens boys for breakfast, like Donald Trump, who's from Queens. She said, us Bronx girls, eat Queens boys like you for breakfast every day. Turns out AOC has not been being honest with us. Shocker. Turns out AOC is from Yorktown Heights, not the Bronx. She was not raised in the Bronx. She was raised in Yorktown Heights. She went to school, elementary, middle, and high school in the Bronx. Not the Bronx, but in Yorktown Heights. She apparently graduated from Yorktown Heights High School. That's a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. This was all brought out by Benny Johnson. Shout out to Benny Johnson for breaking this story. But yes, this is absolutely hysterical. She's in yearbooks from Yorktown Heights. So her entire career, she has been saying that she is from the Bronx. So she has been lying to New Yorkers her entire career as in the Democratic Party and whatever party she is right now currently. The man that is back in Zohran Mamdani has been fibbing to us about her something so simple as where you're from. We don't care if you were from the Bronx or if you were from Yorktown Heights, because that's not why people vote for you. You see, people vote for you on your policies. But if you lie, that would make us feel like, well, what else do you lie about? You see, if you're willing to lie about something so simple as where you're from, what else would you be willing to lie about? And the fact that you hired an illegal immigrant, knowing that illegal immigrants are not by law allowed to work in this country. And yet you did it regardless. And you knew and you can't play that, I didn't know, because there was an email that was leaked from you stating you knew. So you are a fibber. And that socialist Mamdani people, please don't do it. Don't do it to New York. Please, you will destroy New York. Do not vote for that man. He is a socialist communist. You want to know who else was a socialist? You want to know who else thought like he does? Putin and Xi Jinping. That's who. You want to be the next Russia or the next China? Because that's Zohran Mamdani or whatever his name is. Please do not vote for that man if you know what's good. I don't care if the choice is Eric Adams again. I don't care. What you guys need to understand is if you vote for this man, literally, he is going to defund the police. We've seen what that looks like. Chaos in our streets. High crime rates. Crime shot through the roof. Now, excuse me, my nose itches this one and pollen's out crazy. Now, all this other stuff he says he's going to do, he can't do any of it. None of it. The city-run grocery stores, the first time somebody steals from it, it'll go under. because you're not going to be making the profit. And if you think that, oh, having city-run groceries, people won't steal. Baloney. They don't do it because they can't afford groceries. They do it for the thrill. They do it because they can. This is what people need to understand. Defunding the police, that sounds real good. Free universal health care sounds real good. But guess what? Guess what happens when that happens? You can't get a universal health care. Everybody's going to be at the same doctor at the same time. And it takes a year or better to get a doctor's appointment. That's universal health care. Universal child care. Guess what? It does not work. All of these things that he says he can do, who's paying for that? It comes out of taxpayer money. And guess what? When taxpayer money gets used for that, it gets taken away from something more important. Like, I don't know, the education of our children. Or, I don't know, lower cost of living for New Yorkers. This man's not trying to get lower cost of living for New Yorkers. He's trying to get lower cost of living for illegal immigrants. Just like the fact that he thinks he should fight against our president. Anybody who wants to run for an office and goes on the basis of the fact that they're going to fight against the president, that should right there tell you. Right there, it should tell you this is not the man for us. Because 71 million Americans voted for Donald Trump. That means 71 million Americans and other New Yorkers want Donald Trump's policies in effect. The rest of New York does not want sanctuary state policies. The rest of New York does not want Kathy Hochul to earmark $50 million of our taxpayer money to go towards illegal immigrants and their attorney fees.
The woman who danced her way into Congress might be dancing her way into handcuffs.
I hope so.
Investigators have launched the probe that could end in felony charges and
please.
She thought she was untouchable.
You're not. No one's above the law.
But now border czar Tom.
But let's skip ahead a little because they're going to do an ad. And here we go.
I used to drill in on that case. There's my information that there were actually, I can't really comment on that. We don't know if it was illegal status or not at this point. It looks like it might have been temporary status, but I can't comment on the case that's under investigation. As far as, her educating people on how to evade ICE arrest, she's really educating them on how to be prosecuted. Because there are statutes on the books, federal statute, when you knowingly hinder your removal, that's a crime.
And for her to say that she's just telling her constituents, they're not your constituents. They're not supposed to be allowed to vote anyway. So how could they be your constituents if they're not allowed to vote?
When you take steps to prevent your removal after being ordered removed by a federal judge, it's a crime. We have instructed ICE to start prosecuting these cases. If you don't want to open the door, and we have a final order removal, if you don't want to participate and get travel documents for your home nation, you take steps to hinder your own removal, that it's a crime, you'd be prosecuted. So she can claim she's educating people to constitutional rights. I would argue she's educating many people.
She's not educating anybody on their constitutional rights because they don't have constitutional rights because they're not American citizens. That's the first thing. Second thing, the only thing she's teaching people is how to evade ICE, which is against the law. Aiding and abetting is against the law. Okay? And the fact that she's a elected official doing this, shame on you, AOC. You are corrupt and you deserve jail.
I'll be prosecuted. You're going to see that happen.
You're going to see that happening. AOC under federal investigation.
Finally.
Who can remember this
finally.
Classic moment when she thought she was going to be killed by Capitol Police at the Capitol on January 6th. The only problem with that, she wasn't at the Capitol on January 6th. She was in a secure location.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I
She wasn't even there.
to be
That's how
killed.
much she
Other
lies.
things were going to happen to me as well.
That's how much she
What
lies.
you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
That's what you got out of that? You thought, oh, I didn't think I was just going to this happen, but I thought other things might happen as well. And then from that, this reporter gets, oh, so you thought you were going to get the R word. How would you get that from that? No. I want y'all to watch that again.
Be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Okay. How did you get that from that? She wasn't even there. That's how much AOC lies.
Yeah, I thought I was.
She's such a fibber.
And that
Look at her face. Look at
All
her
right,
face.
he's just gonna rewind it and play it in slow motion, and we don't need to do that.
AOC is a complete fraud.
Yes, she is. She is a
She lies
fraud.
about where she's from and even about her name, kind of like her communist Democrat friend Barry Obama.
The reason she goes by AOC is because she doesn't want everybody to know her real name, which is Sandy Cortez, because she graduated from Yorktown High.
In fact, AOC just pulled the Bronx Girl card again this week, responding to President Trump, saying she would eat a Queens boy
That's the one I
like
quoted.
Donald Trump for breakfast.
I don't think he knows how to deal with a girl from the Bronx.
Something's
Except you're not a girl from the Bronx.
very wrong. What functional adult repeats where they're from this often? Someone who's lying. And here's the dirty little secret. AOC is not actually from the Bronx. She was an infant. Her family has lived in a beautiful little hamlet called Yorktown.
And it is
This
absolutely
the opposite
gorgeous
of
there.
AOC's gritty, downtrodden, working class persona. It's clean and beautiful and safe. The neighborhood that AOC grew up in is well off, leafy and manicured. AOC went to elementary, middle, and high school here. She graduated from Yorktown High, where she went by the name Sandy Cortez. And then she graduated Boston University with an economics degree. Since AOC
So how many more lies are we going to tell? Because you are definitely not a Bronx girl. You are a fibber wibber.
Beautiful bill will increase taxes on people making under $50,000. In reality, people making under $50,000 will get the biggest percent reduction in taxes. Love it. Okay, and of course, thank God the bill passed today.
Thank
$1,000
God.
bill. On this point of tax on tips, as one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of the
I don't believe anything. Do not believe anything this woman says. She opens her lips and fibs fly out.
that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you? Losing all your health care, not able to feed
This is what we call fear mongering. You see, she wants to scare people to believing that, oh my goodness, now my kids are not going to be able to see a doctor. No, it's a flat out lie. That's not at all. You'll see the benefit, just like everybody with the tariffs. We're having a meltdown with the tariffs. Look what happened. Donald Trump was right.
your babies not being able to put a diaper on their bottom in exchange for what? This bill is
Who's not gonna? Why wouldn't they be? What's them putting diapers on the baby's bottom got to do with the tax bill? What? This girl's so. AOC, you have no common sense. Because common sense does not dictate what comes out of your mouth. Quite obvious. Because that's not true.
a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes.
You want to know who's making a deal with the devil? You're working with Zoran Mandani, a devil in disguise. There you go.
Our entire economy, and it strips away healthcare and basic dignity of the American people. For what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires.
Which is such a lie, because the funniest part about it is the whole thing was Elon Musk was not happy about the bill because he doesn't get his EV mandate. So how exactly is that even close to accurate?
The greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should
We do support it.
be ashamed.
We're not.
Oh, well.
You should be ashamed for lying to the American people repeatedly.
Okay, and here's this. Never forget, AOC was campaigning for Sharia law back in New York City.
You can vote on election day, June 24th. Supporting Zohran, and we all support Zohran because supporting Zohran is a vote for a New York for all of us.
No, a vote for Zoran is a vote for communists. You want to know who thought the same way as Zoran? Putin.
Sure, you vote early, June 14th, or you can vote on election day, June 20th.
And you want to know how quick she flipped? Now she's going against him.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez y Nidia Velázquez estamos rankeando a Zoran Mandani
What?
número 1 para la ciudad de Nueva York, alcalde.
Both of
What?
these congresswomen have been inspirations in the fight for working people across this city and across this country. And what New Yorkers are looking for is a mayor who will actually fight for them.
You have no clue what New Yorkers are looking for. You don't have a clue what New Yorkers need. You, sir, are not a New Yorker.
Have the endorsements of two who have taken on those same.
All right, we're going to skip a little ahead because I really don't want to listen to that
Adrian
fruit
Adams,
and talk.
number 2. Brad Lander, number 3.
Okay,
Scott
whatever.
Stringer.
AOC, everyone's pointing out, though, it looks like she's getting a little thick in the seat.
Please do not vote for Zoran
We
Mandani.
have this.
Ma'am Donnie or whatever.
2025 Gateway Pundit voters are.
Because trust me when I tell you, if a vote for that is like a vote for socialism. And we all know. Come on, Zippy, do you want to go out? Hold on one second, guys. Go ahead, baby. So a vote for that is a vote for a socialistic type of view. And New York didn't vote for Bernie Sanders because of that. We all know that that does not work. It's been tried. It doesn't work. Not in a free not in a free democracy type of society. It does not work. Because basically you're saying nobody can get ahead and everybody, the only people socialism helps are the people at the top. So Zoran will be at the top and he'll have all the wealth and power, and everybody who's below him will have equal shares of everything. But he won't have equal shares of anything because he'll have all the power, all the money, all the everything. And the people at the bottom, the working class, because they say, oh, we'll get it by taxing the rich. What happens when the rich decide, well, we're not sticking around for that, and they leave? Because it's happened before. And then what happens? Well, you got nobody else to tax, so you have to tax the middle class, and guess what happens? It then becomes impossible to live. You see what I'm saying? We've tried the socialistic view. It doesn't work. And this man is not good for New York. Just like AOC is not good for New York. Because they don't actually care about us. They care about power and influence. That's it. They want the power. They want the influence. That's it. That's all they want. They don't, it's not like they actually care about the constituents, because they don't. They just want Zoran, and I truly am sorry if I'm misrepresenting your name. Zoran only wants the power over the greatest city in the country. Okay, because New York City is pretty much the heartbeat of America. We all know this. Even Donald Trump stated that. Okay? And this is what he wants. He wants control over that. Because people who have control over New York City, well, they have control over the heartbeat of America. And this man wants to defund police. He wants to tax the rich. And, yeah, no. Normal politicians saying normal political nonsense. And AOC, shame on you for fibbing to everybody and telling everybody you're from the Bronx. You're not from the Bronx. You might live in New York City now, but Yorktown Heights is not a part of New York City. It's not one of the 5 boroughs of New York. So stop telling Donald Trump that you're going to eat him like breakfast, because Bronx girls eat Queens boys like him for breakfast, as I'm quoting you. But guess what? You're not from the Bronx. Anyway, allegedly. So allegedly, AOC is fibbing to us. And allegedly, Zoran Mandani is a socialistic communist. Allegedly. So allegedly, please don't vote for either of these people for New York, because they will destroy New York. And that's not alleged. Anyway. All right, guys. I will catch you on the flip. I will check you all later. I am going to get these dogs exercised and having fun, and we will catch you later. Peace, love, and all that stuff. And remember, like and subscribe for more fun. I'll catch you later, guys.